Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Anime Review. It is Season 3, Episode 6, and today we're covering Tokyo Ghoul, Seasons 1 through 2, and I have a guest on the channel today, Doodle, my brother. He's wearing glasses and a mask, because he doesn't want to show his face, which is kind of cringe, if you ask me, but respect. He's on the channel because apparently Tokyo Ghoul is his favorite anime, and he had only seen the first season.
But I did watch the second season.
Yeah, I had him binge watch the second season the other day. But anyway, let's get right into this review. Okay, guys, so you know how we do. I got my notepad here with different topics that we're going to talk about. This might turn out to be a little bit of a longer video if we just chill and talking about the show. But yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is the story. And so basically, if you guys don't know what Tokyo Ghoul is, it's about these monsters that are called ghouls.
Yeah.
And they eat humans and stuff. And then there's this group called the CCG, which is like a police force, pretty much, like a special.
They want to take down like all the ghouls.
Yeah, they're like a special forces that fight the ghouls and stuff, because ghouls are armed with these special attack mechanisms called Kaganes, which are like spider legs that come out their back. But the main character is a human who ends up becoming half ghoul.
One-eyed ghoul.
Yeah, he's known as the one-eyed ghoul, or
the eye patch.
Because he wears an eye patch over his one of his eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the basic plot. But in the first season, he joins this group.
Coffee.
Basically the ghouls can't eat any human food, or else it'll make them sick. They can only eat human flesh.
So they have this one thing that they can only eat/drink, which is coffee. I don't know why. It's just like coffee is like it's the only human thing that they can consume.
Yeah. So they have like this secret coffee shop where like all the ghouls hang out, and it's called Onteku. And basically they just chill out there. And then stuff happens where there's other ghouls that are like not good ghouls. Like Jason was one, Rize, and who were other ones that weren't great? I forget. I can't remember any other names off the top of my head.
The other group.
Well, alright, I'm gonna get into that. So, in the second, or the end of the first season, we get introduced to this, like, resistance group, like a ghoul resistance group, that's like a borderline terrorist group, called, Algiri. And, what ends up happening, spoilers right here, Ken, or the main character, ends up joining Algiri, to take down the CCG, in order to keep his friends at Onteku safe, pretty much. But yeah, so the characters are pretty cool in the show. Like Ken, for a main character, like he's pretty whiny and stuff in the beginning. But once he joins Algiri, he becomes a lot more cold and cool. He becomes way cooler because he ends up undergoing some changes. Let's just say that his hair turns white
from stress.
Yeah, from stress. But he gets like a serious power up. And then later on in season 2, he gets another power up. Where his Kagune. Remember when his Kagune powers up when they're fighting the CCG?
Yeah.
And he had like the weird crest mask thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, he becomes a lot cooler in the second season. So honestly, not that strong of a main character. There was some cool fights later on between him and Amon. The Jason fight wasn't that great. He barely did anything except like stab him.
Yeah, Jason.
But the what was it? The Amon fight at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
When he had the lance, and when he fought, well, he sort of fought him in season 1, except he was like, he didn't really fight him. He just kind of stood back. But
Because he wasn't like fully like committing to the ghoul life.
Yeah. So that's another plot point is that he's a human, gets turned into a half ghoul, but he's basically rejecting being a ghoul, even though he's physically forced to, he has to consume human flesh or else he's gonna die, and his ghoul tendencies start to show the hungrier he gets, and he's gonna go insane and just eat a bunch of people. But he keeps rejecting the fact that he's a ghoul until there's a point where he finally accepts it, and he's like, all right, I'm a ghoul, pretty much. At that point, there was one part where he was like, I'm no longer human, but he is still half human.
So there's just one thing I want to add to the coffee. There's these sugar cubes that are made out of human flesh, so it tends to keep their hunger more. So you just put the cubes in the coffee, and then it keeps their hunger up. So yeah. They have
they're sugar cubes, but it's not flesh. They're blood.
Blood, yeah.
That's in them, human blood, and they're able to consume that in their coffee, and it makes them they can hold them off a little longer, but they need to consume human flesh. It won't last for long.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the characters though, we are following the main characters that are at Onteku, but there's other characters like Hide, who is Ken's friend,
My friend.
Yeah, it was his human friend before he got turned into a ghoul. And then we also follow two members, really three. Actually, not really three, but there's one main character that's part of the CCG. His name's Amon, and he works for this. He works with this old dude, who ends up having something. There's something that happens. I'm not gonna spoil too much in this video, but then he ends up working with his daughter later on in season 2. But they're pretty cool. I just don't like the CCG in general. I wish it would have focused less on them. But there's a few other cool characters, interesting characters, the CCG. What's his name? Juzo?
I thought that was a girl at first.
Yeah, everybody did. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, actually, that's a dude. And they were like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, he is weird.
Yeah, there's plenty of, interesting characters.
How about the twins?
Yeah, but they weren't part. Well, they were part of the CCG at the beginning.
And they turned to the.
Yeah, there's flashbacks that show them. When we're introduced to them, they're part of Aogiri. Yeah. But there was flashbacks. We learned that they were once part of the CCG, the CCG Academy or whatever. But there's one character named Uda, who's he makes all the ghoul masks and stuff. They have to wear basically look like Oni masks. To cover up their identity, and he straight up. If you look up a picture of Uda, he looks like freaking Skrillex.
Yeah.
But I want to talk more about. They have their special abilities called Kagenes. And pretty much the way it works is every ghoul has a special organ in their back, and when they're in when they come in contact with human blood, I think, or they need, or if they're really hungry or in battle or something, they're able to, their stress goes off or something like that, their battle instincts, and the organ grows through their skin, and it creates these weird Doc Ock from Spider-Man type arm things, and everybody has sort of a different one. There's a character named Toka, and hers are wings. Ken has these.
Ken has Rizes, which we'll get into why he has Rizes.
Or not, because I guess it's not too much of a spoiler, but I feel if you haven't seen the show, it might end up confusing you. So it gets more explained at the beginning of the show, sort of.
Just watch the first episode and you'll know why.
Yeah, pretty much. But Ken's is this weird spider, spider legs, and then and then there's what other characters? There's the one purple haired dude. He has like a spiral that goes around his arm, and it creates like a. If you guys remember in Full Metal Alchemist, when Edward uses the blade arm, it kind of reminds me of that.
So, his favorite character is Nishio, which,
Yeah, he's like this, he's a ghoul who was first introduced as a villain. My brother pulled up the character names.
Purple-haired dude's name is Shu, so, yeah.
Shu Tsukiyama. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different type of Kagenes, which are unique to each character, which is really cool. And there's like this one enemy called the Owl, which I won't spoil because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can like piece together who the Owl is if you watch the show, and especially at the last episode of season 1 and the first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
You can figure out who it is if you have a keen eye, which I did, because there was something happens later on in season 2. They're talking about the Owl, and one of the characters who interacted with the Owl was talking, and I was like, wait a minute, and then it was a whole thing, and I was able to piece it together before they revealed it, which made it all like way better, because I was like, I figured it out. So that was pretty cool. But overall, there's just a lot of cool things about this show. It was pretty bloody and violent, which I did enjoy. It wasn't terrible. Like an age rating, I don't know. I'd say probably like a 12-year-old could watch it. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I'd say probably like a 12-year-old could watch it. It wasn't like Berserk level.
Yeah, Berserk is like really up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. The violence was sort of like Attack on Titan, which Attack on Titan isn't bad for kids. It's pretty appropriate for the most part. Yeah, so it's not like overly gory, but there is like a lot of bloody fights and stuff, which are really cool. But overall, me personally, Tokyo Ghoul was an entertaining watch. I've heard that with the show, though, it's obviously based on the manga. But in the second season of the show, the way I understand it, because I did some research, is they switched it up a little with the manga. Like, they didn't follow exactly what the manga said. So when the season 3 came out, which season 3 is called Tokyo Ghoul Re, which is the sequel series to Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul Re is exactly like the manga. But because the show didn't do what the manga said exactly in the second season, it makes the show not make any sense. But it makes perfect sense in the manga. So in the second season, they did something weird where they messed up the show, and it made it to where the third season doesn't make any sense. At least that's the way I understand it, based on what I've heard. But needless to say, it wasn't terrible. I'm not gonna watch the third season. I'll just read the manga at some point. Probably not anytime soon, but yeah. At least for Tokyo Ghoul Re. I'm not going to read the manga for the original Tokyo Ghoul, but I will for Tokyo Ghoul Re. Overall, personally, I give it an 8.7 out of 10 at the moment, but you guys know how I do. I change the ratings at the end of the season when I do my recap. Brother, Doodle, what do you give it out of 10?
I give it a solid 48.7 out of 50.
Alright, bro. Alright, so, you're sure.
Yep.
So, that's his score. 48.7 out of 50.
So, like, I'd give it like maybe like a 87.9 out of like 98.
That's not, okay, well.
Yep.
So, he basically gives it a
9.9. 9.7 out of 10.
He's gonna give it a 9.7. That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's my maybe lower.
And one thing that I always remind myself with is just because it's my favorite show doesn't mean it's the best. Like with Sword Art Online, love that show. It's terrible, but I love it. So, and sometimes your favorite show could be like the best show out there, because one of my favorite mangas and anime of all time, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I
Single.
thought you were gonna say amateur.
My Hero Academia is nowhere close to being my favorite. I like it quite a bit, but
it's overrated.
Sort of underrated. It gets a lot of hate, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching our review of Tokyo Ghoul. I'll leave a link to Doodle's channel down in the description. Go sub to him, check him out. He does, do you still do Fortnite?
No.
He does like Minecraft or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check him out. And yeah, anyways, there was a whole thing where I didn't upload for like 2 days, even though I had a schedule for this week. I was gonna upload a few days ago and do this video, but then I found out he never actually saw the second season, so I had to wait all day for him to binge watch the whole second season.
Yep.
Then he went to the movie theaters, and then we weren't able to do the video. And then the next day, we just, I forget exactly what happened, but we back at it today. I'm going to upload a manga review for The First Rent-A-Girlfriend, and then tomorrow I'll also do 2 videos just to catch up. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.